I used to fund her dreams. This time, I gave my support to the girl she bullied. I was reborn alongside Mia, though she had no idea. She still saw me as the same pushover I had been in my previous life. Back then, I had given her top-notch financial support, helped her get into elite universities, backed her startup dreams, even to the point of nearly ruining my family. In the end, she drained me completely and kicked me to the curb. To make matters worse, she showed up later with my biggest rival on her arm, smirking. This time, I swore I wouldn't give her a single penny. The opportunity came during the annual charity donation gala, where Corp showcased its commitment to underprivileged students. Every year, we select one recipient from dozens of candidates and assign someone from our company to support them directly. In my previous life, I had immediately chosen Mia. She had turned out to be an ungrateful freeloader. This year, I tipped off Alex, my nemesis and Mia's unforgettable first love. In our past life, Mia had once told me that Alex had a crush on her before I began sponsoring her. My money had blocked their chance. Now, I was curious. Would Alex ever have had real feelings for her? By the time Alex and I arrived at the sponsorship hall, the room was packed with about 100 people. I spotted Mia immediately. She had barely aged, still slender with a long waist, long legs, and a cascade of black hair flowing over her shoulders. Among the ordinary students, she was like a snow lotus blooming on a mountain peak. Noticing my stare, Mia straightened, lifting her chin even higher. I knew she, too, had been reborn. Once the most successful female entrepreneur, now back to being a struggling student. I wondered if she realized what was coming. The staff greeted me warmly, thanking Corp for giving underprivileged students a chance to study peacefully. The other students were polite and grateful, but Mia saw my past generosity as humiliating. This time, I withdrew my support, hoping she would be satisfied. When it came time to select the one-on-one sponsorship candidate, the staff lined up the students, each giving a brief introduction. Mia went first. She was outstanding, consistently in the top 10 with provincial and national awards, but instead of giving a passionate speech, she offered a curt hello and stood there, pride radiating from her. The staff frowned. She couldn't have cared less about making a good impression. In my previous life, I would have immediately chosen her. This time, I didn't. I told the staff, "No pressure. Let's meet the next candidate." Mia froze, stunned, before leaving reluctantly. The staff urged her on. "Miss San, please don't waste time." She shot me a cold glare, but I didn't look back. I continued listening to the other candidates and ultimately chose Ava. She hadn't won any awards, but her grades were consistently high. One telltale sign, visible bruises on her face, showed the hardships she endured. Her father was an alcoholic who had hit her. She seemed timid but determined, quietly saying "thank you" when I selected her. Mia sneered, lips tightly pressed together, but I didn't indulge her. "Are you verbally bullying your classmate?" I asked coldly. Mia's eyes widened in surprise. Then she gave me a smug look, as if saying, "So you're trying to get my attention." I felt disgust. She maintained her calm, superior attitude. "I'm just telling the truth," she said, "so you don't think my behavior was wrong." I ignored her and turned to the staff. "This is the candidate you selected. I have doubts about Mia's character. I want to support students who will pay it forward, not those who treat their peers with arrogance and scorn." Deliberately, I raised the stakes. My words hit. The person in charge demanded Mia apologize to Ava or risk losing eligibility for sponsorship. Mia's face twisted in fury. "I won't apologize," she declared defiantly. "I, Mia, will prove one day that a woman can succeed on her own." Her righteous declaration left everyone speechless. The silence broke with Alex's applause. He walked towards me with conviction. "Ethan, you can't bully someone like her," he said, trying to make it seem like I was targeting a poor student. Mia's eyes lit up, imagining some romantic rescue. Too bad, I knew Alex's smug smile. It was all to annoy me. Mia refused to apologize. I looked at her with contempt. She lifted her chin, unbowed. "I didn't do anything wrong," she said. I feigned a sigh. Corp would never sponsor someone who can't show kindness to their peers. But since you think so highly of yourself, why don't you have Chan Corp sponsor you instead? Her eyes sparkled eagerly at Alex, who hesitated. Finally, he muttered, "I'll discuss it with my family." I sat back, curious. How far would Mia go this time without Corp's support? Campus life and Mia's startup. Ava and I were accepted into Beijing University. Mia went to the teachers' college next door. Though she had grades high enough for Beijing University, the teachers' college offered subsidies, affordable room and board, and a guaranteed monthly stipend. We ran into her on campus. She sneered at Ava. Just another girl being kept. It reminded me of the past life when I had liked her and defended her. Back then, rumors said she'd latched on to my family. Now, she was the one sneering, playing the accuser. Ava stood her ground. "Jealous of me? I got into Beijing University, not you. Chosen over you by Corp. You're jealous." Mia was clearly outmatched. She muttered, "I don't have time for this," and left in a hurry. Ava returned obediently to my side. I asked her, "You're not mad?" She shook her head. "No, this time I've chosen someone with a clear mind, not someone who turns on you at the first hint of gossip." Mia's attempt at a startup. Later, Mia found me in the library, leaning over my desk. "I'm giving you the opportunity to invest in my new energy company. Invest $50 million and I'll give you 0.1% of the company's initial shares." Her gaze was cold, contemptuous, yet tinged with pity. She looked every bit the domineering CEO, though one trying to attract investors with arrogance. I kicked the table leg, standing up. "You're standing too close." Other students glared at us for disturbing their reading. I apologized, but she ignored them. She continued, "Think it over, Ethan. When your family goes bankrupt, don't say I didn't give you a chance." Suddenly, it clicked. In my past life, I had poured all available funds into her business. My family nearly went bankrupt only for her core technology to attract new investors and save K-Corp's cash flow. That's why she had always acted so high and mighty around me. She had been carrying herself as my family's savior all along. This time, I had no reason to be polite. "So you want an investment," I said. "Do you even have a company certificate, a team, a business plan, projected ROI?" She had none of it. "Why should I invest for your looks?" I sneered. She seemed to interpret it differently, with a mix of anger and shame. "I'll never bow to you," she hissed and stormed out, leaving me oddly satisfied. Mia's campus struggles. Eventually, Mia found an investor, Alex, who gave her $5 million for 51% of the company. Overnight, she became a campus sensation. She never attended class, citing that no teacher's years of salary equaled her investment. I watched as she attempted to rebuild her old empire. She had memories of her past life, but she was a freshman now, far removed from her previous technical and managerial experience. She struggled to assemble a team, losing members over disagreements about technology ownership. I couldn't help but watch, knowing exactly how this would end. In her past life, I had saved her from crises. This time, I would just watch Alex put on a show in the hospital room while Mia floundered. Mia lay alone on her bed, her leg in a cast, elevated. Across from her, the wealthy heir sat in a wheelchair, his head wrapped in thick bandages, flanked by a few burly men. Mia looked visibly frightened, terrified, really. In my past life, I had single-handedly blocked them at her hospital room door, terrified myself. But this time, I was here to watch the show unfold. When she saw me and Alex, her expression relaxed. Looking at me, she even wore that arrogant smile, as if thinking, I knew he couldn't let me go. She seemed almost annoyed I had arrived late. I had to bite back the urge to slap that smugness off her face. The wealthy heir noticed her gaze. "Is he your boyfriend?" he asked. I immediately waved my hands and stepped back. "Just passing by," I said. Mia shot me a furious glare, but when she saw Alex, her eyes softened, as if imagining I was jealous. I stepped back further, trying not to react to her foolishness. The heir then turned his attention to Alex. Alex stepped forward. Mia looked at him with glowing, tender eyes. Don't misunderstand, we're just classmates, but I think clearing up any misunderstanding between you two should settle everything. Mia cracked open my skull with a glare. Misunderstanding? I'm here to get compensation. The heir sneered. So you're gonna pay for her? Alex hesitated. Not exactly. I was hoping you might be a bit lenient. The heir stroked his chin. Fine. I was supposed to close $1 billion deal today, and she ruined the negotiation. She should cover the loss. But since it's you asking, I'll give her a 10% discount. Just $900 million. Generous, right? Alex's face went pale. I didn't know this girl. Handle it directly with her, I thought. I didn't spare Mia a second look and quickly exited the room. The light in her eyes dimmed. Without me to cover her, she was alone. The heir continued to glare. If I'm not satisfied with the compensation, I'll send you to jail. In my past life, even though both were injured, Mia started the conflict. If he refused to settle, she would face criminal charges. Back then, I had secretly traded K-Corp's most profitable division to the heir to keep her safe, and recover the stolen technology. This time, she had no money, no power, and still rushed into his company. She looked at me desperately. Ethan, if you help me with this, I'll be your girlfriend. She finished the sentence before shutting her eyes and turning away, as if enduring the ultimate humiliation. Huh, in my last life, I had worried about her injuries and never told her what it cost me. This time, I wanted her to see exactly what she had lost. I looked at the heir, adopting an overly dramatic tone. Tell me, what will it take for you to let her go? One of the heir's men recognized me, and instead of lowering the demand, it increased. Well, well, the Coop family's heir himself. My apologies for not recognizing you sooner. We're practically family. Let's not talk about money. Tacky. If you want me to let your little girlfriend off the hook, simple. Trade me K-Corp's retail channels. The heir smiled. Mia's eyes widened. She remembered. In my last life, she had once taken over K-Corp. She knew what our retail channels represented. I pretended to hesitate, and her expression softened, clearly recalling how she had once enjoyed free use of those channels. I smiled wickedly. If she were really my girlfriend, I'd pay up, but some people don't know their place. I rolled my eyes dramatically and walked out, swaggering. It was satisfying. Mia didn't end up in jail. The heir didn't want money, he wanted Mia's project. She was forced to hand over her entire startup team, sign a contract making her an employee under him, and receive only $1,000 a month until she graduated. Alex was furious. The $5 million investment he had made for her, funded by a wealthy older woman he was seeing, hadn't returned a cent. Worse, the capital was gone. Furious, he confronted Mia, and after a heated argument, she agreed to sign a $5 million IOU. At her current pay, she would never pay it off in this lifetime. I laughed at Alex's stupidity, but then my laughter faded. Mia's attention turned to me. Early one morning, as I was heading to class, she was waiting at the entrance holding a small, transparent bag with 2 large steamed buns from the cafeteria. Ethan, I got your favorite steamed buns, she said with a forced smile. I nearly vomited. It was so painful to watch. Mia noticed my disgust and frowned. Don't like them? Didn't you used to? I smirked, watching her try to act charming but fail. Used to, indeed. In my past life, it was right after she had thrown my tray in the cafeteria. Humiliated, I had stayed away for a week. She eventually brought me breakfast the next day. 2 cold steamed buns, probably leftovers from her own meal. Blindly in love, I had downed them dry, thrilled she had brought them for me. I didn't even like buns. I turned to see Ava behind me, holding a pink thermos and a bottle of fresh milk balanced on top. You don't have to make breakfast every day, I said, a bit embarrassed. Skipping breakfast is bad for your stomach. She handed me the milk. It was the perfect temperature and tasted great. Seeing herself ignored, Mia snorted and walked away, tossing the buns in the trash with a loud thud. Ava retrieved the buns and placed them where stray cats could eat. In that moment, she looked beautiful. Mia never gave up. She found ways to appear around me like a pesky fly, securing a seat in class in advance, calling for me in the cafeteria, waiting outside my dorm on weekends. I tried to avoid her, stepping into my luxury car, but Ava stayed calm and steady by my side. At night, after her studies, we'd feed the stray cats together. She gently broke fish into small pieces for them, and the kittens followed the scent to her hand. I tried to mimic her, the soft, wet tongues brushing my palm, sending a tingly sensation that nearly melted my heart. "I feel a bit jealous of a cat," Ava murmured softly. I turned to see her bright, shimmering eyes. I realized how close we had become, shoulder to shoulder, almost feeling her warmth through the thin fabric of her sleeves. A breeze brought a sweet scent, not floral, but Ava. I leaned closer, entranced. "What are you two doing?" a sharp voice cut through the air. Mia stood behind us, furious. The startled cats scattered. Her eyes were locked on me, barely restraining her fury. Ava positioned herself by my side. I dropped the fish, dusted off my hands, and moved Ava behind me. "Who are you to be questioning me?" I asked Mia, meeting her eyes. I... Her voice choked. Her expression shifted from anger to confusion, then regret, then a hint of pain. "You're mine," she said, staring as if I were the most handsome man in the world. I didn't believe her for a second. Revolted, I turned back to Ava. "You'd better head up," I said. Ava nodded. "I'll wait until you're back inside." I walked away, ignoring Mia's calls. She was like a muddy pit. Last time I stepped in, I got my shoes filthy and dragged my family down. This time, I just avoided her. With Mia no longer clinging, Ava's visits became our routine. Breakfast together in the morning, evening walks to feed the cats. One day, Ava didn't show up. An uneasy feeling settled over me. I asked a senior classmate and learned she hadn't been in the lab and wasn't answering messages. Using my family's connections, I discovered she had left campus late at night and vanished. Her last known location was a messy alley near her home, where her alcoholic father lived. I rushed with a team. Her tiny, run-down house was grimy, her father reeking of alcohol, holding a bottle. "Where is Ava?" I demanded. He ignored me until one of my men shook him, forcing him to mutter, "Dragon." We went to Dragon's place. Ava sat in an empty room, bruised, flanked by two big men, a debt note in front of her. Despite her injuries, she gritted her teeth, holding back tears. Dragon waved his men back. "Looks like your boyfriend can pay, right? A few $100,000 should be nothing." I looked at the note. Over $1 million. "I'll pay." Ava's eyes widened. "I'll sign it myself. Don't make him pay," she sobbed. Dragon's expression changed when he realized who I was. The debt was increased, $100 million with 1% daily interest. I stayed silent. Just as the situation escalated, the police burst in. Dragon's men panicked. One hurled a chair at me, but Ava threw herself in front, saving me. Dragon was arrested. Ava ended up in the hospital. While I fed her bird's nest soup, Mia shamelessly came to visit. "What does she have that is so special?" Mia spat, glaring at us. "A gambler's daughter, and you think she's worth this much?" Her words barely hid that she remembered our past lives. I laughed. "Mia, you're not welcome here." She squatted beside me, trying to grab my hand. I pulled away. "Ethan, stop messing with me. Let's go back to how things were. If you stay with me, I'll treat you well." I smiled at her, deliberately. Just as hope lit up her eyes, Ava spoke. "I don't want a repeat of the last life," Ava said softly, recovering quickly. She was discharged and returned to the lab, balancing schoolwork and our evening walks. One day, she waved her phone at me. "Your new patent application has been approved. I'll create more patents, building my own ladder to reach you step by step." I pulled her close and kissed her passionately.